Good morning, baseball fans. How you doing? Man, oh man, it's been a while since I've said good morning to all of you. What the heck is going on? I was getting my beauty sleep last night, having a sweet slumber, and I wake up this morning, and Carlos Correa is a New York Met. What in the world is going on? Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Like I said, it feels weird saying good morning. You know, I like morning streams. It's nice. You know, I got my coffee. Look, I got a little mug. It says coffee on it. Ain't that just adorable? My goodness. But everyone, how you doing this morning? How you doing? Got a lot of familiar faces here in the chat. We got Lou the Seal himself, the Giants mascot, is hanging out with us on this fine morning. Manuel Perez, thank you for becoming a member for the 8th straight month. And Michael Yanch, I see your super chat coming in. The Giants will be in 3rd place in the division, and they goofed on Carlos Correa. Man, we got a lot to unpack here. I didn't go live right away. I wanted to really kind of just look into everything, kind of digest it. Usually, I go live right away to react to things, or as quickly as I can. This one, I needed to kind of sit back and think about a little bit more. Andrew Lee has now become a member for the 14th straight month. Andrew Lee, you are wonderful, my friend. Thank you for that. But there's a lot to unpack here. We don't ever see anything like this. This is a rather unique situation. Right away, what comes to mind anytime you have seen, maybe not, for me, what I think about when I'm comparing something to this, I think of the Alex Rodriguez trade. You know, it looked like Alex Rodriguez was going to the Red Sox, and all of a sudden, everything got canceled, and then he went to the Yankees. Now, it's not, obviously, that was a trade. This is a free agent signing, but that is what came to mind, honestly, right away for me, personally. So there's a lot of moving pieces going on here, and I'm sure we're going to find out some more over the next few days. But if you are just coming in and, hearing, obviously seeing the title, basically what happened, the San Francisco Giants, they had a deal with Carlos Correa. We all saw the news. They had a press conference signed. They got the limos ready. They got the big old cake ready for the after party of the press conference, whatever. Everything was good to go. And then the physical came in. The results came in, and they did not like the physical very much. And then the Giants ended up pulling out. Here come the New York Mets. Here comes Steve Steinbrenner himself, Steve Cohen, and landing his guy. It's really funny because I did a video last week when the Mets had been showing interest. I did a video on it. I even had a couple of people saying, oh, man, this, they would say sarcastically, this aged pretty well, huh? And, well, I guess it did age pretty well because I did a video on the Mets showing interest in Carlos Correa. And then like 30 minutes later, it was announced that he signed with the San Francisco Giants. So at the time, the video itself was not great. What can you do? But now that video is quite relevant again. Manuel Perez, thank you for the super chat. I was at work when this dropped. I had to take a nap and wake up to see if this was real, but I never in my wildest dream thought the Mets would do this. I'm not surprised the Mets did this. Honestly, if you want my quick reaction to everything, when I'm looking, I'm shocked at kind of the whole turn of events. But I'm not shocked the Giants pulled out, and I'm not shocked that the Mets signed him. I'm not shocked about those two individual things. I'm just shocked about the whole story as a whole. It's just kind of wild, if you ask me. But really, is this really surprising? Let's be real about this for a second. Is this very surprising as we might think it is? Go back to last offseason. Remember Carlos Correa? He was having a tough time getting a long-term deal. The Detroit Tigers had offered reportedly 10 years, $275. It's kind of funny now because Carlos Correa, while he will be making more money overall in the contract, he would have had a higher AAV on that contract with the Tigers. Hey, what can you do? But again, I'm not very surprised at something like this happening, because Correa had a tough time last offseason trying to get that deal because of health issues. So it's pretty crazy. So we'll get into everything here. We got a couple of super chats coming in. Thank you for the support, everyone. Do appreciate that. Colton Hullinger, I bet Giraffe Neck Mark is crying happy tears right now. You know, him and James are doing an episode of the Mets Up podcast as we speak. I mean, they're probably freaking out. Probably Jolly Olive is freaking out right now. Michael Yench, $5 super chat. Let's bash the Giants. Michael Yench going full support for his Padres. You got to love it. You got to love it. I mean, there's a lot of implications coming out of this. And it's not just with, Correa, the Mets, and the Giants. There's going to be other dominoes that fall because of this deal as well. And hey, I'm going to show my giraffe neck Robbie here. If Rafael Devers is getting traded at some point over the next month and a half, now the Mets, who did look like a pretty good fit, now you can say they're out of it. And now all of a sudden, maybe the San Francisco Giants could be an option. We'll talk about it here in just a little bit. But before I do get started, everyone, if you are new to the channel, think about subscribing down below. We are trying to get to 30K by opening day. So subscribe if you are new. Everyone, hit that like button for me. The like goal for this stream, we're at 80 likes at the moment. Can we get to 150 likes by the end of the stream? I think it's very possible. If you can help us get to that, that would be amazing. Everyone, hit the bell notification. That way you know I go live every single time. Hey, even when I go live in the morning, you never know when I'm going to go live. You never know. And hey, share the stream if you can. All right, everyone. Let's get to it here. So I'm kind of just going to, I don't know, I guess I'm going to go storytelling mode. I'm going to kind of just go back in time here. And I'm going to try and break this all down piece by piece. So let's get the music ready. Let's get ourselves nice and comfy. Everyone, grab your coffee, grab your tea, whatever the heck you're drinking, go grab it, because we're going to need it this morning. We're going to need it. Here we go. Music is ready. All right. So let's get to it here. What happened to my link? What is going on? Here we go. All right, so let's go back to yesterday. Okay. Now, the Giants reportedly postponed Carlos Correa's introduction due to a medical concern. Now, when this came out, my first reaction was, all right, they'll figure it out. It's already such a long commitment, so many dollars involved. They'll probably get this figured out. Whatever. Press conference will be on. Just kind of got to wait for everything to just get settled. And I went to bed last night thinking, all right, I wonder what I'll do on the channel tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a video and, who knows, maybe a stream. We had Brandon Drury sign last night. I'm still pretty cheesed off about that one. I wanted Brandon Drury to come to the Red Sox, but I'm just going to bed last night thinking, all right, what can I talk about tomorrow? Well, we got something to talk about, because in the middle of the night, the Giants pulled out because of a concern with the medicals. And then just like that, he is going to the New York Mets. One less year on the deal, and is for $315 million overall. That ends up being, I think that is a slightly lower AAV. If I do 315 divided by 12, that's 26.25 on average per year. 350 divided by 13, that is 26.92. So he's getting a slightly less AAV. Richard Wan, how you doing? Red Sox fan here. Love your videos. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. Keep up the good work and hope this becomes a full-time job for you in the near future. I hope so too, man. I would love to do this full-time. We'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. Richard, thank you for supporting the channel, my friend. I do appreciate you very much. This is what I think was going on. I think the Giants, they definitely wanted to hang on to Correa. Obviously, they made the signing. they needed, after losing out on Aaron Judge, they basically got used as leverage for that whole thing. Let's be real here. The Giants were just completely used in that entire thing. Scott Boras completely played the Giants in every single way possible. But the Giants had to pivot after that, and they had to go for a guy. After getting such a sting like that, losing out on Aaron Judge, you had to go for someone. And Carlos Correa was a great fit. Sure, you got Brandon Crawford at short, but not getting any younger. Most likely probably wouldn't be coming back after next year. He's a free agent after next year. So Correa was an option that made a ton of sense. Now, with the medicals, this is my personal opinion when it comes to the medicals. I'm kind of wondering, I was sitting here this morning thinking, man, what could it have been on the medicals? My first thought was the back, right? We had been hearing things about Carlos Correa and his back, but Susan Slusser, I believe of the San Francisco Chronicle, I could be wrong on that, but she tweeted out that it was not the back. So my guess, I'm just speculating, I'm not reporting this, I'm just guessing. I do powerlifting. I've been doing powerlifting now for 10 years. I know a thing or two about injuries. I've been to physical therapy just a million times. I've just learned about everything when you can learn about rehab and everything like that with the body. My guess is it's something with his hip. That is something that I'm thinking, or his shoulder. It could maybe something with the throwing arm long term. Could be something of a concern. But my guess would be the hip, because he has had lower back problems and the hip is connected with the back. And so when you're having hip problems, that can lead to back issues as well. So maybe there's nothing that's giving him problems right now necessarily, but maybe there could be something long term where they see, a bit of a degeneration of the hip. So that's just my guess, because I'm trying to think, what could it be? My guess, it's either the hip or something with his throwing arm. That's my guess. Unless anyone else has seen anything out there, I don't know. But those are my guesses right now with Carlos Correa. So my guess is this is what happened, right? The Giants, they saw the medicals. They had the press conference ready. They said, hey, Scott, hey, we got to talk, man. We got to talk. Scott Boras is known. He only likes to talk with, the higher-ups on the team. He's not really talking with the president of baseball operations so much when it comes to these big long-term deals. So he probably had Zadie call him and say, hey, there's something going on here. I don't know about this. We're going to have to maybe throw in some kind of an option or something here, because there's an issue with the medicals. We're not feeling too good about it. We gotta throw in a team option somewhere. Scott Boras is known, he does not like to renegotiate. Scott Boras is someone, when he has a deal in place, that's the deal in place. He doesn't like to back out. He doesn't like to switch things up. Probably would not budge when it came to that. So Zadie said, all right, listen, if you're not going to throw in a team option, after like a 5th or 6th year, or maybe after an 8th year, we're going to have to back out. My guess is Boras is probably thinking, listen, you've already got the deal in place. We've already announced the press conference. This has already gotten out there. I don't think this is something that you want to do. Do you actually really want to do this? Do you really want to pull out of this deal? You're going to tick off a lot of people in San Francisco. I don't think this is something that you want to do, Zadie. And I think he said, listen, we're just looking out for ourselves long term. We don't know what's going to go on here. Maybe sure, he'll be fine, for the first 5-6 years of the deal, but we're concerned about the later half of the deal. We don't want to be, paying this guy this money, especially when you got something like this from what we're seeing going on. Boras is probably like, hey, we took our own physical. There's nothing wrong with the physical with Carlos Correa. We got the same physical. We got the same MRIs. What are you talking about here? Sorry, Scott. We got to, we're going to have the team option or no deal. We're going to have some kind of something in place to protect us long term. Scott says, you know what? Hold on a second. Ding, ding, ding. Bells are going off in his head. Hold on a second. He's probably not saying this out loud. He says, Hey, Steve Cohen, he called me. And he said, hey, what's going on with Correa? Well, we got to deal with the Giants. Sorry, Steve. You're a little too late to the party, man. He gets right on that phone with Steve Cohen. Hey, man, you might have some luck here. Hold on. What are you thinking? Do you still want Correa? Yeah, we want Correa. Yeah, we're trying to win a World Series. Absolutely. Correa? Oh, hot dog. Let's do it. All right, what are you thinking? You want to do the 13-350? The Giants, they're kind of backing out here. They're not quite sure. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. He calls the Giants back. Probably says, hey, you have to, this is your last shot. This is it right here. Do you want to sign this deal or not? This is your last chance, yes or no? Sorry, man. We gotta look out for our long-term security here. All right, it was good doing business with you. I tried helping you. Hopefully, we can do some business in the future soon. He calls Steve Cohen back. Hey, we got a deal. Hey, you know what? You don't even have to do the 13 years. We'll just do 12 at 315, 26 and a quarter per year. How does that sound? Steve's like, oh, I got a bargain. Oh, man, this is great. This is awesome. And there you go. That's probably that had to be exactly what happened. Yeah. And Scott Boras, if he did not have Steve Cohen here, he would be absolutely screwed. Absolutely screwed. If Steve Cohen did not jump into the party late, Boras would have a lot of issues here. But he's very lucky he had someone like a a Steve Cohen. If you didn't have him, who knows? My guess, if Steve Cohen wasn't around, probably would just go back to the Twins. That would be my guess. He would have stayed with the Twins long term. But it's interesting with Correa now because here's the thing. We'll talk about the Mets here. There's obviously a lot of excitement with the Mets, but let's talk about the Giants. I think if you're a Giants fan, I think you're going to have two camps. I think you're going to have people that are really cheesed off. I'm not supporting this team anymore. I'm done. I'm not even going to pay or watch baseball anymore. I'm over it. I'm done. This Giants team, they just cannot land the big one. They can't land the star. I'm done with this team, right? Even though they won, what was it? 3 World Series or whatever it was. You're going to have Giants fans like that. But then I think there's going to be some Giants fans out there. They're going to be like, hey, you know what? This could end up being a blessing in disguise. This is probably the best thing that could have happened if there was something wrong with him. Listen, it is, all you got to look at are contracts like Albert Pujols, Jason Hayward. When you got big money tied up and they are doing absolutely nothing for your club, it's pretty just frustrating to look at, because it's just dead money at that point. It's just you have no flexibility. You're losing flexibility in your payroll. And if Correa is a guy that's barely playing the last, 5 years of that deal, 6 years of the deal, that's good. Yeah, sure. Maybe in the short term it would be great, but you got to look at it from a business point of view. You want to help out the short term, but you also want to make good long-term investments as well. This isn't MLB The Show. This isn't MVP baseball where you can just go out there and just throw money and you can figure out you can just go trade the guy or whatever. It's not like that. It's not. You got to think about it from both aspects, short term and long term. So, to be honest with you, if I were to fall under one camp of Giants fans, I'd probably say, hey, you know what? Well, now we got some money that we're not going to be spending on a guy that could end up barely even be playing in the last few years of that deal, 5 years of that deal. You don't know what's going to happen. For the Mets, right now, they're in a position they're a little more. The Giants are motivated to compete, but the Mets are just at a different motivation level right now where he's trying to bring a World Series to Queens. Steve Cohen is a madman. He is Steve Steinbrenner. He's the new George Steinbrenner on the block. He's doing what he can to bring a championship to this city. the Giants are, sure, they want to win, but they're not like going madman Steve Steinbrenner crazy right now. So the Mets are obviously in a position like this. And again, Scott Boras, he better be sending Steve Cohen a Christmas card in, 4 days from now? He better send him a Christmas card because he better thank him for all of this. Like, honestly, I definitely think he, like I said, would have went back to the Twins. But in the end, the Giants are definitely just not they don't have the same motivation that the Mets do. So I can totally understand how all of this went down. I think for the Giants, I think you got to start like kind of, listen, you missed out on Aaron Judge. Correa did not work out. I think this is almost like a sign, for the Giants. I think a lot of people would think, oh, we're cursed. No, I think this is actually something, you know what? Maybe it's probably just for the best that we don't go after these big guys. The Giants, I think they're going to play their game, and they're going to get back to the way they think, and they're going to get back to just thinking outside the box with things. And I think when it comes to the Giants, you just can't land the big one. So you know what? Quit trying. Go another approach. Stick to homegrown talent. Stick to these other smaller signings. Go, and maybe, who knows, maybe you could end up getting a guy at some point. But I don't know. I'm just saying, you got the universe is giving you signs here, San Francisco. Stop trying to go after these big guys because it just doesn't work, right? So I think what the Giants need to do. This is what the Giants need to do. Giraffe Neck Robbie is about to turn on right now, everyone. So just be warned here. I think you got to go after Rafael Devers. If you want to go for a guy, you got the money. You were giving him $350 over 13. Hello, ding, ding, ding. Rafael Devers is probably going to get traded. I think you should go after him. You got it. You got the money. He's 26 years old. He's even younger than a Carlos Correa, a lefty bat at that ballpark, hitting bombs into the water. I mean, come on. This just makes a whole lot of sense for now the Giants to pivot to Rafael Devers. This offseason, we have seen how dominoes can fall. It's crazy how when certain dominoes can fall in certain ways, different things can happen, man. And I think the Giants are a very real possibility right now to go after someone like Rafael Devers. I mean, when it comes to adding a bat, they need to add a bat. They need a bat here. And now with the Giants, you have so many more possibilities. Sure, you're going to have the market next year. You'll have some bats there. I haven't fully looked too much. Hey, could that be a video? Could I take a very early look at the free agents next offseason? Maybe that could be a fun video. I think that could be a pretty fun video. Why not? But that's what I think the Giants need to do. I think they need to pivot to Rafael Devers. They got some prospects. They got some younger guys that I think that they can make a move for. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull up baseball trade values. We got 500 people in the chat. Everyone, we're trying to get to 150 likes on the stream. We're at 123, so if you can help us get to 150, that would be absolutely amazing. Let's go to baseball trade values. Myself and John Bitzer, who created this website, we'd had a stream last night, and if you missed it, go check it out. It was a fun stream, about an hour long. But let's go to the Giants and the Red Sox. This is a deal that I think the Giants need to pivot to. If they really want to add an impact bat, well, here you go. Because they could use a third baseman. Now, you're not going to have the awkwardness of Correa and Crawford because you got third base wide open. So, let's take a look here. San Francisco, they're going to acquire Rafael Devers. Let's put Devers on the Giants. You're looking at around $37 million worth of value. Now, the Giants, they could go a few different ways here. When you got a few different prospects, you can get a deal done. Now, you're not gonna have to include a Luciano Let me pull up the top prospects here. You're not going to have to include a Kyle Harrison. So that already works out in their favor. But maybe you could do someone like a Luis Matos. You got a third baseman right here who is pretty close to being major league ready. Had himself a good year in the minor leagues last year. Played well at high A ball, and then he continued to play well at double A. And in a very small sample size at triple A, he did play pretty well over those 4 games. Right there, you got a guy in Casey Schmidt. You got a Luis Matos who had a really down year in the minors last year. So, but there's with the Luis Matos, he is an athletic guy. He's not much of a power hitting guy, but I could see the Red Sox and Chaim Bloom liking the athleticism with him because he can kind of do a bit of everything. He can hit for power, and he's got speed, and he plays the field well. I could see the Red Sox really liking someone like him. Kind of fits the profile of what Chaim Bloom likes to look for. So, you know what? I'm going to put a trade together here. We got Matos. We got Schmidt. And right there, you're, maybe a couple of more prospects away. Maybe you can include, I don't even know. Maybe you could even do something like a Slater, or maybe you could do Yastrzemski. I don't know. Well, the Red Sox got a full outfield right now. So let me actually pull up here. We got the Red Sox. What could the Red Sox use? They would probably want a major league player in return. As of right now, you're going to have Justin. Well, if you trade Rafael Devers, Justin Turner, he can just go be your third baseman, and DH is open. But when it comes to the outfield, you got Kike, you got a Yoshida, and you have a Verdugo as well. Could you include someone, maybe like a Slater or maybe like a Yastrzemski? I could see something like that. I think you could get something done. Right there, if you did Matos, Schmidt, and Slater, I think you could get something done there. Slater right now, he's on the bench, but he had a good on base last year of 366. So, he is 30. I don't know. You could get a deal done if you're the Giants, or maybe you could even throw in someone like a Joey Bart. The Red Sox could use a catcher, maybe like a Patrick Bailey. I don't know. He hasn't done very well in the minors so far. Go after Rafael Devers, Giants fans. I think that's what you need to do. That's my thinking. Now, let's talk about the Mets. Obviously, the Mets are the ones that landed Carlos Correa. Who knows what's going to happen long term? Right now, with the Mets, you're thinking short term. That's the whole point of all of this. This is why their payroll is almost $400 million. Absolutely insane. Myself and John of Baseball Trade Values last night, we talked about the Mets payroll for a minute there, and it is crazy where this payroll is getting. The New York Mets, Carlos Correa is going to be your third baseman, just like they did in the World Baseball Classic. Correa and Lindor on the left side of the infield. That's going to be fantastic. This is a great addition. This is awesome. This lineup, 1 through 6 right now, is a problem. You got Nimmo, Correa, Lindor, Alonso, McNeil, and Marte 1 through 6. That is not going to be easy to navigate through at all. At all, man. And then in the bottom half, you can do a bit of a platoon at the DH spot. You can do a Vogelbach. And now you have Escobar. Escobar, what do you do with Escobar? Do you keep him on the bench? Is he like a bit of a utility player in your infield? You can, go play a little left too. I could see the Mets hanging on to him. But, at the DH spot, you're going to have Vogelbach there. Escobar can go get some turns. I'm just saying, you got Darren Ruff there as well. And then you got a new catcher and an Omar Narvaez. I really like the way this Mets team is looking. It's a great looking team right now. This is an awesome team. I love the addition of Correa. Sure, maybe he's not going to give you, 40 home run power like a Pete Alonso, but he's just an all-around good bat. Good batting average, good on base, good slugging, good fielding. This is awesome. This is awesome for the Mets. In the short term, who knows what's going to happen long term? You don't know. But I think this is a World Series looking team right now. Absolutely is. This rotation looks fantastic. Man, this Mets team looks good. It's a good-looking team, man. You know, bullpen, you brought in Ottavino. You brought him back yesterday. You brought in David Robertson. I love the Brooks Raley trade. I thought that was fantastic. This is a great-looking Mets team. There are going to be a lot of people going with the Mets as a World Series champion for next year, and rightfully so. This team looks great. What else is there to say? There's not a whole lot else to say, to be completely honest with you. They needed to do something. They got embarrassed by the Braves at the end of last season. Absolutely embarrassed. Lost the division right there at the end. They ran out of gas. They ran into a Padres team that started playing pretty well right there in the playoffs. They ran into them. They couldn't get it done. They needed to have an offseason. They needed to make a statement. Now, I've been seeing this question a lot. Is this good for baseball? Is this good for baseball? Is the Mets payroll good for the game of baseball? I mean, sure, it's fun. It's definitely, it's entertaining. Obviously, when you got a guy like a Steve Cohen, who's one of the richest men in the world, yeah, this is extremely entertaining if you're a Mets fan. What are the long-term implications of this, though? The long-term implications, I'm sorry, but it's I don't think it's great. I don't think it's great long-term. You know, I think this is owners are going to start being like, all right, like, come on now. Like, I understand this is Steve Cohen here, but like, you know, this is a little crazy. You know, like they have blown through every level of the luxury tax thresholds. 233, 250, 253, 273, 293. It's crazy. The fourth threshold was 293, and they're at 388. There is just no concern here at all. Long term, I don't think this is good, you know, for the game. I don't. I think I think owners now, especially when it comes to, you know, coming up with new collective bargaining agreements, I think you're going to have now you're going to have more tug of wars when it comes to that, you know, salary caps and whatnot. I think this could end up getting this can get a little hairy now. You know, we just had the lockout last year. I guarantee you owners are going to be thinking, all right, we need to do something about this. You know, now we could end up having, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another lockout at some point. I'm just saying. Because I know it's only one team, but what happens if, you know, Steve Cohen bought the Mets? What if another guy out there goes and buys a team and he just starts doing this, you know? I'm just saying. Dominoes fall. Happens here. Well, where does it stop? Could it keep going? You know, and then you're gonna get so much division between the owners and the players. I don't know. I think you could see some ramifications of this. Homeless Jesse Elon Musk buys the Giants. Could you imagine? Oh man, could you imagine if Elon Musk bought a team? Be crazy. Is he a baseball fan? Elon Musk, is he a baseball fan? Can someone confirm that for me? But man, I think you could see some long-term ramifications of this. We have a few super chats coming in. Let me get to these. Luke Walker, Mets are the most expensive wildcard team ever. Oh, they better win the division. They better win the division now. I'll die laughing if they don't win the division. Sam G, Phillies and maybe even the Braves lineup is way scarier. I think you can make an argument that, yeah, I think the Phillies and the Braves have lineups that go toe to toe. As a whole team, I do like this Mets team. I do. I like the way it looks. Sam G, thank you for that. Schmidt boy, how you doing? Mets trade Beatty and McCann to the Cubs. I never thought of that. Maybe. I don't know. I think with the Cubs right now, they're kind of in a weird... They have a few pieces they could trade, but I think they're kind of in that middle awkward zone right now where they're not quite ready to deal prospects, I think. I think they could make some deals, but I don't think there's going to be any big deals that they make unless like something really comes along. I don't think Beatty and McCann really makes sense for the Cubs. I don't know, but Beatty now is definitely expendable. I wonder if the Cubs, if it's really the team, you know, because it is interesting now with Beatty. Because now, what do you do with him? Because you got Correa now and it's not like Correa is going to slide over to shortstop anytime soon. I think it's interesting. Here's what I think could end up happening. I think the Red Sox, I think are going to be really big factors here. And I think the Mets could be a team that gets involved because the Red Sox, if they're going to trade Devers, they're going to need a third baseman. Could you maybe do like a 3-way trade where maybe Devers goes somewhere and then somehow the Mets send Beatty back to the Red Sox and then the Mets end up getting something in return? That is a very good point that you make. It is a good point. What happens with Brett Beatty on the Mets? So could you shift him to an outfield spot? Could you maybe make him a left fielder? Maybe. You know, Mark Canha, he's not getting any younger, so could Beatty end up just shifting positions at some point? I think that's possible. Let's go VB3. This is all Jacob deGrom's fault. Man, I still think it's crazy that he went to the Rangers. Still think it's crazy. But man, that money freed up from DeGrom, man, oh man. Could you imagine if they brought him back too? Jimmy Productions, $1.99. Could see the Nats in the mix for Devers. I don't know, Jimmy. I don't know about that one. I don't think the Nationals get in on Devers. They're trying to build that farm back up. I think that's the last thing they need to worry about right now is Devers. George Saldana, Ohtani to the Giants next year. I mean, yeah, I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Where are they going to get it done? I mean, here's the thing. You know, they can get it done. They got it done with Correa. Now, you know, this guy is obviously not looking too well long term. So they can get a deal done. Could you imagine if Ohtani, he signs with the team next year and then something pops up on an MRI with him? Oh, good grief. Could you imagine? But I think the Giants would be awesome for Ohtani. Who knows? Maybe this is all leading. The universe is guiding the Giants to Shohei Ohtani. Maybe. We got Stark Raving Sports in the chat. Oh my. It is an honor to have Stark Raving Sports in the chat. How you doing, guys? How you doing? He says here, wonder what Jacob deGrom feels today. What is deGrom feeling today, man? I don't know. He could either be... Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what he could be thinking. It's interesting. I want to ask Jacob deGrom. What do you think, man? What do you think? He could be... Is he laughing at how much the Mets are spending money? Here's the thing with deGrom. I just find it interesting. It seemed like he never really even wanted to go to the Mets when you really looked at it. I don't know. Did he really want to go back to the Mets? He just went to the Rangers, man. I don't know. So, very interesting. Jacob deGrom. And I read the other day, everything was looking pretty good with him medical-wise. So, hey, if he ends up being healthy for that whole deal with the Rangers, that'll be absolutely fantastic. What else we got going on here? What a name. Dr. Slicknuts. One of our members. I hope y'all spend another $500 million. Nobody cares. Could you imagine? Luke Walker, $1.99. Braves should rage trade for Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds, man, that's going to be another one. That could be another domino here, you know, with Correa now officially off the board. I think you're going to see some talks of Brian Reynolds. If the Pirates were smart, Well, they gotta approach with caution because they don't want to just go out there and start advertising Brian Reynolds is up for trade. They got to be smart about it because they got to keep the leverage for him. The best thing to do would be to maximize his value this offseason because you're not going to get more for Brian Reynolds, or at least on paper, you're not going to get more for Brian Reynolds than you would right now. I just wonder, will it end up being this offseason? Could it be next offseason? The Pirates got to approach with caution when it comes to a Brian Reynolds trade, when it comes to maximizing his value. So, Stark Raving Sports, rage spending is good for baseball. You know, I like it. I like it. You know, here's the thing. When the Red Sox and the Yankees, they were going back and forth. You had the Evil Empire. You had George Steinbrenner doing everything he could. I still remember when they got Alex Rodriguez, they had signed Gary Sheffield. They had traded for Javier Vasquez. They grabbed Kevin Brown that offseason. I'm thinking, holy crap, this Yankee team is looking ridiculous right now. And then ended up leading to one of the best baseball stories of all time. But then the Yankees did not stop there. Remember when they got Randy Johnson? I remember when they landed Randy Johnson. I'm thinking, oh my God, what the heck is going on right now? George Steinbrenner's a madman. Now it's Steve Steinbrenner. I love it. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. When you got money, go spend it. Now, I think the Mets, they're going a little bananas right now. What is the song? B-A-N-A-N-A-S bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S bananas. It's entertaining. How is it not? I mean, I love waking up to a story like this. You know, I'm getting my beauty sleep last night, had my cucumbers in my eyes and everything, and I'm waking up groggy as can be. And here's the thing. How did I even see it? I didn't even see a tweet. You know what it was? What I tend to do when I wake up in the morning, I'll give you a little, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Give you a little, I can't think of the word. I'm going blank on the word. But whenever I wake up, I pick up my phone. I'm seeing what the heck's going on in the world. Answer a couple of text messages or whatever. And then I tend to go on YouTube. Like, I don't know. I just kind of like to watch something when I wake up in the morning. Just, I don't know. It's a nice, peaceful way to wake up in the morning. And I saw Wardy, NYM. I saw that he had gone live. And I saw the title saying Carlos Correa to the Mets. I remember reading it at first. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I didn't even really notice it at first. And I'm thinking, like, was this like an old stream or something? I'm like, what is this? What? And I thought maybe it was like an old stream that had to do with like when the Mets were showing interest in Correa. And then I read the title one more time and I'm like, wait a minute. Carlos Correa signs with the Mets. I flew onto Twitter. MLB.com. I'm like, what the heck happened last night? My cucumbers fell out of my eyes, and I'm just in a panic all of a sudden, thinking, what the heck is going on? I go, and then I check all the other baseball YouTubers out there. People are live. People are talking about it. I'm like, what? I'm so confused. I didn't even know what to think. It's crazy. Juan Diaz, how you doing, my friend? $4.99. I'm happy to see the Mets owner at least care about winning. I do love that. I love that. That's why I liked George Steinbrenner, because the guy just wanted to win. We need more like that. More. Like Kylo Ren. More. We need more. Mets have a great team. If healthy, they look scary. They do look good. Jimmy Productions. Rockies signed Devers. 4-15-13. I don't know about that, Jimmy. I don't know about that. 4-15. I think that might be a little much for Rafael Devers, man. The 13 years I could see possible. Why not? But we're definitely going to start seeing more dominoes fall. We're going to start shifting to the trade market now. And again, I've said Devers like a million times here. Definitely think Devers is going to be, it's looking exactly like how the Mookie Betts trade ended up happening. Now, well, the Mets are not going to go after Rafael Devers now. Could you imagine? This won't happen. I am 99.9% sure this is not going to happen. What the heck do I know? Could you imagine they still trade for Rafael Devers? They just make him the DH. or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. That won't happen. But could you just imagine? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. But you got to think now for Rafael Devers, the Dodgers are definitely a threat. They've been quiet this offseason. You know, sure, they've made a couple of moves, bringing in Noah Syndergaard, bringing back Kershaw. They did something else. I can't remember. But they've been a bit quiet this offseason. Now I think the Giants are definitely a threat. Look out for that. Maybe the Cubs. Maybe the Phillies. I think it's very possible. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting for the next few weeks. But hey, the Mets, man, I think you got to be excited about this. How could you not be? You know, I think this makes your team not just better offensively, but you have a very good left side of the infield now. Correa, Lindor, very good defensive players. You know, we haven't seen Correa at third base in the major leagues. We've seen him play third base at the World Baseball Classic. I remember he made a pretty good stop. I have one memory of a good stop that he made at third. I think Correa is going to end up being fine. Could that end up maybe helping him long term? Did maybe the Mets, did they think, hey, you know what? Maybe the Mets have an idea of what it is on the MRI. So maybe they think at third he'll end up holding up long term. And for the Giants, they probably thought, okay, shortstop, probably not. Again, I will say, I said this at the beginning of the stream. My guess is what popped up for Carlos Correa on the MRI. I think it was a hip thing. That's my guess. Because he's had lower back issues. When you tend to have hip issues, you tend to have back issues as well. That's my guess, is he's got something going on with the hip. I don't know what exactly it is, but that would be my guess. Or his arm. You know what? I want to look at something here. I want to go look at something. If it is the arm, something with the shoulder maybe. Let's take a look at his throwing strength. So his arm strength, 72 percentile this past year. What was it in 2021? Oh. It went down a little bit. It was at 80 in the 80th percentile in 2021. Let's check out 2020. Oh, 87. Interesting. How about 2019? Oh, it doesn't show it. That is something. His arm strength, his arm strength has gone down the last few years. Interesting. So I wonder if it is a shoulder. Could be. That's my guess. It's his throwing arm or his hip. One of those. But for the Mets, right now, obviously, this guy is still really good. Still really good. I think in the next 5 years, you're going to have yourself a good third baseman. Lindor and Correa. I mean, that's also, let's just also get away from the baseball point of it. This is going to be a marketing machine for the Mets. They're going to be selling, I mean, my God, the things that you could do, you know, with a Correa Lindor. You could put them both on T-shirts. You could have Correa Lindor bobblehead nights. I mean, my goodness. This is going to be like the two partners in crime in Queens. They could do so much marketing with Correa and Lindor. They're partners in crime. You know, you got to think right now, people in the Mets organization, they're like, all right, T-shirt, bobblehead, posters, this thing. They got all these ideas is popping up right now. Felix Ortiz, and you make a great point there. The Kadai Senga market. I think that's a thing that people have not really thought about very much with Kadai Senga. Is you have a market from Japan, you know. So the Mets, there's a lot of marketing going on right now, and I think that's also a big reason why Cohen is making these kind of signings, because he knows that you're going to be making a ton of revenue. Obviously from ticket sales, but you're going to be making revenue in so many other ways. So I think this is, there's a lot more to this than, you know, that meets the eye. So I'm excited about this. I am excited about this. What else is there to say? The Mets, they're going to be a good looking team. Where do the Giants go from here? I personally think they should go for Devers. That's just my opinion. There are other bats out there. You could make a move, and they got some pieces in the farm that they could move. Will they be willing to part with the Luciano or a Kyle Harrison? I don't know. That's one thing with Luciano. Now you have an opening for him to play shortstop. So that is one bright side, I guess, when you look at this. Jimmy Productions, $4.99. I see the Mariners, Rangers, Orioles, White Sox for Devers. Red Sox are turning into the Nationals, losing bets because the Nationals, they lost Harper. Like the Red Sox lost Bogarts. They lost Rendon. And then Soto, just like the Red Sox are probably about to lose Devers. I see what you're saying. Hey, organizations, I haven't fully made, my opinion. I'm still making a decision on what's going on with the Red Sox here. I'm waiting for everything to play out. At the end of the day, I know people are mad at ownership and everything, but we've won 4 World Series. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yeah, it's a little frustrating when the Red Sox don't go after guys, but I'm going to hold my judgment, until I see a finished product, until I see, what ends up happening more over the next couple of years. So I'm not going to jump the gun completely on my Red Sox yet. So at the end of the day, everyone, this is an unexpected morning. This was not something that none of us saw coming. But even after the press conference was postponed yesterday, I still thought it would end up being fine. In the end, Scott Boras, he better be sending Steve Cohen a Christmas card. Because he bailed him out, man. He bailed him out. Everyone, but you know what? Actually, there was something else. There was something else on the MRI that popped up. There was something else on Carlos Correa's MRI that did pop up. And I definitely think this is something that really did hurt his value. When you're not taking care of a man's nether regions, that can really hurt your value. So I think you got to go take a look at Manscaped. If you use my code HYDE, 20% off. Go get yourself a nice trimmer. Go get yourself some stuff that can take care of those nether regions. It can get a little messy down there. Go take care of it. Carlos Correa, his value got diminished because he's probably not taking care of all of it down there. But if he used my code HYDE for Manscaped, he would be in good business. Go check it out, everyone. Go check it out. Everyone, we are partners with SeatGeek. Use my code HYDE, $20 off, as well as Prize Picks. Go use my code Ginger, and you get a 100% deposit match. Everyone, I'm going to get out of here. I'm not going to sit here for 3 hours and just ramble. I think we've talked about everything that we need to talk about. Brandon Drury going to the Angels last night. I'm very sad about that. I really wanted him to come to the Red Sox, but what can you do? What can you do? Everyone, if there is anything else to report on, I'll be back tonight. I do plan on making a video today. Not sure. I have a couple ideas I'm thinking about, but sure there will be something else for tonight. Everyone, go have yourself a good rest of your day. All the super chats, thank you so much for that. The support is always greatly appreciated. Everyone, go have yourself a good rest of... What is today? Say Tuesday? Oh, it's Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Go have yourself a good Wednesday, everyone, and I'll talk to you next time.